Chapter 11, Coconut Princess. I'm assuming Chapter 10 was the I'm sorry something. I'm sorry, John, but I won't let you have your phone here. I'm going to be off the grid for a while. That was the last text that was sent before they, my guess is, confiscated her phone. Who's they? You were sent away to some far-off mental hospital for treatment. I also have bad experiences with mental hospitals. Great. Given the severity of the situation, they didn't let her go to an old therapist. She's getting the best treatment this side of the continent. Apparently, I saw it. It made sense for them to take her phone, thinking it over. Having access to the internet while supposed to be healing mentally is really just not a good idea. The internet is a cesspool of maliciousness. It wouldn't help. My friend then proceeded to get very much worse. Well, all of my friends in mental hospitals. Because nurses were shit, the situation was shit, and not being able to have anyone visit was shit. AKA, it was shit. Sorry. I'm tearing up remembering how bad it was. So I would have been fine with this normally. My only problem with it is, well, now I can't even talk to her. My loneliness was reaching new heights. Ugh. I rapidly scratched my head and then sighed again. I needed something to do. Somebody to talk to. All I've done these few days is sit in a pile of my own crap. Come on, John. What happened? Used to be the bachelor of the century. But your girlfriend leaves, and now you can't do anything to sulk. You really are hopeless without her. I shoved my hands into my pockets. Taking a night stroll was a terrible idea. All I'm doing is thinking about how everything sucks. Ugh, no. Nothing sucks. None of what is happening sucks. Sucks for you, yeah. But Yuri is finally getting help. And I just can't be convinced of that. I'm sorry. As much as people want to say it right now with the currency with the relationships I still have towards them. No. And still the idea that you only get better and you're only showing that you want to get better when you go to therapy and mental hospitals. I want to be bad to those people. You wanted this from the start. Yeah, sure, the hospital is 12 hours away by car, but who cares? Get over yourself. You can last a few weeks, months, without seeing your girlfriend. However long it takes. Because you know what? You said you would be there for her. And right now, being there for her means not being there. Just let her have her time. You can deal. After that mental punching of my own head, I arrived back at my house, only to notice that my mailbox had been messed with. Something I didn't notice on my way out. Who the hell? I opened it up. There was a letter inside. I don't get mail. Dad gets all the bills and stuff are routed to where he stays. I more than pulled it out. Who the hell sent me? Lakeview Health Institution. Oh! This is the hospital Yuri got sent to. This is the hospital Yuri is staying at for the betterment of her own health. Yeah. Looking over the rest of the letter, the name it was addressed to was mine. The handwriting of the name itself seemed rather elegant. AKA, the handwriting I could recognize anywhere. At least they allow you to send letters. Before even walking inside, I tore open the letter. Dear honey, salutations. Sorry, I haven't been able to contact you until now. In the text I sent, I stated that I wasn't allowed to have my cell phone with me. This is true. According to the doctors, it's so my healing process isn't ruined by anything I may see online. I can understand them. What I don't understand is that the only way I can communicate is through letters. This may have been a fantasy of mine to communicate with a loved one through mail and love letters, but it's your only option. You begin to dislike it. But anyway, I'm glad to be able to talk to you again. And before you ask the inevitable question in your letter back, the doctors are treating me nice. Yes, I'm safe. No, I'm not enjoying myself. Yes, it's hard. No, I don't feel as if I'm getting better just yet, but that's okay. Though, now that we're past the basic stuff, I miss you, hon. It's only been around a week and a half, but I miss when we would sleep together. I miss when you would kiss me on the forehead and call me babe. I miss being able to rest my chin on your head. I miss feeling loved. Everything is so sterile here. It's dreadful. And well, to get to the meat and potatoes of this hospital stay, it hasn't been going so well. I feel like we've made no progress, and all of the doctors seem like they're trying to dodge the fact that my arms are covered in scars, and my wrist still has an actively healing wound. It's ridiculous. The doctors keep trying to talk to me about my emotions and how I feel in my daily life. It just makes me want to scream. I'm not here to talk about my emotions. I'm here for you to fix me. Obviously, it's not that easy. I know that. But I just want them to start trying something. Anything. Maybe it takes my time. I'll go along for what they say. But for now, I love you. Oh God, I love you. Please stay safe. And please stay strong. Farewell. Sincerely and with love, Yuri. At least she can still ride without problems. I set down the letter. Jeez. That was rough. That was rough. She seemed so miserable. It was understandable given the situation. I would be too. But just because something is realistic doesn't mean it's good. I opened up my door and walked into the kitchen. I set the letter down on the counter and walked over to my collection of office supplies. They weren't in the kitchen drawer, but instead all on in a desk close by. It was convenient to keep it all near the bar, given I like to sit and do homework here or there. It was a nice workspace. Anyway, I need to write Yuri back. I grabbed a piece of paper and a pen. Sitting down at the aforementioned bar, I got to work. I set down the pen and began to read over what I had written. Dear Yuri. Hey, it's John. I'm glad to know you're doing okay, and that the doctors are treating you nice. Though you don't seem too happy about this ordeal, and I don't blame you. Look, I miss you too. I miss you so much. I practically can't function without you here. It's gonna make me sound like a total sissy, but every day I wish you were here and in my arms. But you can't be, because you're in there. And speaking of in there, I can understand you wanting to make progress, but you need to give it time. The doctors ask you about your emotions, and what seem like ridiculous questions because they're trying to pinpoint how you think and how you feel. It seems arbitrary, but just trust them, okay? They're there to help you. You just have to trust them. I know you understand that, and you even say that you're going to still follow what they want, but I think you need to hear it more from me too. It'll happen. You'll be better in time. Rome wasn't built in a day, babe. I love you too, and I still wish you were here. Right back soon. John. It was a little blunt, yeah, but sometimes you have to be. I could be supportive. Of course I could. But I also need to push her along. I hope. This letter could be a huge mistake. No, I shook my head. Negative thoughts don't help anything. They don't. I folded up the piece of paper and grabbed a dusty envelope from the desk door. I stuffed it inside and sealed it all up. I wrote the addresses and even put a little heart next to Yuri's name. Hopefully she'll enjoy that. I then looked up and down for a stamp. Only to not find Jack. I knew I had some around though, so I didn't give up just yet. Though, just when I was about to... I pulled out an even dustier piece of paper and smiled. 2 stamps. That's 2 letters I can write. I counted my blessings and put one on the envelope. I then walked outside, put it in my mailbox, flipped the flag up, and walked back inside. I fell onto the couch and sighed, feeling myself sink into the cushions. I reached into my pocket, only remembered that I forgot my phone in the kitchen. I groaned. I didn't want to get up. And I didn't want to turn on the television either. I began to look around my general area for something to do. Anything. I was desperate. My eyes caught something. Smiling slightly, I reached over and grabbed it. I turned it around a bit in my hands and really felt the weight. It's nice. I smelled it. I brought it away from my face and turned it over one last time. I then opened it up and read the first page. Mural of Markov. Two days had passed since I got Yuri's letter. I was on my way home when I noticed that my mailbox had once again been tampered with. I rushed over excitedly. That was quick, I said, pulling open the little door. Yep, another letter. And in just 2 days. Honestly, props to the postal service. I shook my head. I'm getting distracted. I shut my mailbox, turned the flag down, and walked inside. I tossed my bag to the side and walked into the kitchen. I sat down at the bar, and finally, I opened up the new letter. A smile on my face, which slowly fell as I read the contents. Dear honey, salutations again. I bring good news. The doctors have leaned into the idea of discussing my actual problems. The only issue is that I'm not sure if I'm ready for that yet. I want to rush into it, yes, but I believe that I may have jumped the gun. It is way more difficult than I thought it would be. Whenever I make an attempt to talk about it, the only thing I can talk about is the feel of the blight across my skin and an overwhelming feeling of nausea. To put it simply, I'm scared, hon. I'm terrified. Every time I try to open up to the doctor, I feel like I'm a little girl. I wish you were here with me. I know you would make it easier. You would hold my hand as I talked through it, and would tell me you loved me and were proud of me when I got past a particular tough spot. Things are just so hard. I really need something like that. If I'm being fully honest, it was probably the only reason I was able to tell you. Subconsciously, I knew you would love me anyway. And I would love you back even more. I'll keep working at it, so I can be proud of myself too. Farewell. Love, Yuri. Oh man, I know the situation isn't very good right now, but these depressing letters are really getting to me. I shook my head and stood up to grab my letter supplies. Paper, dusty envelope, and my last stamp. Guess I'll have to run to the post office. Hey Yuri, it's John. First thing I want to say is that I love you and I'm proud of you. I can see it in your last letter. Plain as day, you're miserable. But the fact that you're holding out is why I'm so proud. Yes, you complain, but who doesn't about some things? You complain. But you know how important this is. And for that I commend you. Good luck. I'm sorry that this list is so serious, and let's get down to business, but I have a tactic for you. Something that should help you with talking to the doctors. I want you to imagine something. I want you to imagine you're talking to a person. A specific person. Someone you love and that loves you back. You see where I'm going with this? You've done it before. And yes, I know. Therapy is way bigger of a deal than just talking to a crowd about a poem you wrote, I know. But don't you think our relationship has grown a little bit since then? Back then I was just your friend and it worked that well. So, I want you to imagine that you're telling your problems to me. I'm listening, babe. I'm holding your hand, okay? I can't be there, but I'm there with you. Alright? I love you. And please tell me how it goes. Love, John. Folded, deposited, sealed, and addressed. Outgoing only a few moments later. But this all led me back to the same dilemma from a few days ago. I was bored. I finished mural. I finished it within 6 hours of opening it. Any homework? No, I did it all yesterday. When I was just as bored as I was now. Boredom led me lying down the couch, phone in hand, mindlessly scrolling through my photo gallery as the television blared some crap I couldn't care less about. Something that these days I found myself doing often. Usually I didn't find anything interesting in my photos, but this time I found an old photo of me and Sayori. We both looked to be about 12 years old, and we were as happy as could be. And we definitely weren't bored. Something something's ringing.
Hello?
Hey, Sayori!
Oh, hey, John.
She said, seemingly happy that I gave her a call.
What's up?
Well, to get straight to the point, I've been doing that quite a bit recently. I was wondering if you wanted to hang out.
Oh, so now that your cute girlfriend is off getting healthy, you want to go to your best friend? Your second fiddle. Well, I don't have it, John.
I chuckled. You mean you won't have it? She blew a raspberry.
You know what I mean.
She then giggled.
Of course you can come over. Do you have anything in mind that we can do?
Well, do you still have that old Nintendo? She audibly gasped.
You mean the...
I nodded, even though she couldn't see me. I do.
I'm not sure. I would have to look for it. You wanna help me look?
I'm on my way. I hang up the phone. And in only 10 seconds, I was knocking on Sayori's door.
Come in!
With the blue bow. So then dragged me into her house. Getting dragged around by women, a concerningly common theme. I woke up feeling like absolute garbage. Where the hell am I? And in a state of confusion. It was a familiar place. Oh, right. This was Sayori's living room. I must have fallen asleep on her couch. I moved to get up, given how uncomfortable I was, before I heard a shift of movement. I looked to my right and saw Sayori asleep on the couch. She seemed happy. Whatever it is she's dreaming about must be pretty nice. I whispered to myself. She stirred once again, though, so I bit my tongue. She looked like a puppy. In a good way, of course. I shook my head. Who am I trying to justify for myself to? I stood up and stretched, finally deciding to move on from staring at the body of a sleeping young girl. Ugh, sleeping on a couch is not fun. But what was fun was the day me and Sayori had yesterday. It was nice. It was really nice to be able to talk to her again. To really feel a connection. See, I never really understood the phrase good old times growing up. Mostly because in my eyes there were no old times that were good to think back on. But hanging out with Sayori, I feel, is one of those times. Being able to feel like a kid again is something that very rarely feels authentic. But playing old Nintendo games with juice-stained controllers and greasy pizza hands just felt right. In all honesty, I really, really needed this. Just some kind of break. A break from the drama. A break from Monica. A break from Yuri. Well, her problems, to be more specific. They can be quite exhausting. I love her. Of course I do. I love her more than the sun and moon. While Yuri is obviously a deeply troubled individual. And that's normally such a huge turnoff. But I chose her for a reason, you know. To me, she's so much more than that. She's so much more than just some broken girl. She's the love of my life. And I wouldn't change anything about her. Her problems, if anything, make her seem even stronger. By now, a lot of people would have just said forget it and well, off themselves. But not Yuri. Hell no, not Yuri. Back in the hospital, as she explained the events of that day to me, she kept insisting that it was an accident. That she wasn't suicidal. And I trust her. I trust her fully. I know she isn't suicidal. I took a deep breath in and smiled. My strong girlfriend. Stronger than I'll ever even hope to be. After that rather lengthy internal monologue, I turned back to Sayori. Still asleep. She'd appreciate a nice breakfast, yeah? All it took was one day to get another letter. Every 2 days seems to be the pattern. I was on my way back from school and afterwards the bookstore. When I saw it, my mailbox flagged up. Why was I at the bookstore? I decided to try and check out some books that Yuri talked about in the past. I did want to read The Girl Next Door, but some others seemed interesting. Like this one about a 12-year-old kid going on a quest to stop the thief of some bolt of lightning or something. I don't recall the name of it, but it sounds wicked. Setting my bag on the ground, I put my flag down and opened up my mailbox. There it is, one single letter. I need more friends that talk to me by mail. I grabbed the letter and tore it open. Salutations. I have great news. It worked! By God, it worked! Only for a little bit, though. Halfway through, I began to lose vision of you in my head, and I'm sorry, but I just looked up. I could tell the doctor was disappointed, but said he was happy that I was making progress, so I guess that's good. To be honest, I am not sure how long I'm going to be here. My original thought of only a few weeks is not looking good. At this rate, it's going to be much longer. I'm not excited about that. But whatever helps me get better, I suppose. I love you. Farewell, Yuri. Well, the tactic worked. Somewhat. I sighed. Time. Patience. I need to go get stamps. Surprisingly, none randomly appeared on my desk drawer. Cool. I quickly entered my house and grabbed my writing supplies. My plan was to write a letter while I was riding the bus. Save time, and I could write in a different environment. That always helps, or so I've heard. I exited my house and locked the door behind me. As soon as I got onto the bus, I sat down and began to write. I would stand, but I can't exactly stand up and write. I would look like a dork. Yuri. That's great news! I'm so happy for you! And don't worry about not making instant progress. You're locked up? That's okay. You can try again. You can keep trying. Eventually you'll do it. I know you will. Your resolve shows me that plain as the day. And don't worry about how long it takes. It's hard to not have you here. But much rather you be healthy and better than back here and, well, hurting. I can't help you like they can. You said it yourself. But it's gonna be hard because of... God damn it, of course it is. We've said it so many times, both of us. And I'm sorry that I don't have another magical cure-all method to give you in this letter. But I just want you to know that I'm behind you. I always am. But right now you don't need that. What you need is to keep your head facing up and in front of you. Keep moving forward. I love you, John. Ah, how sweet. There was apparently an old woman in the seat beside me. Thanks. I was 3 times more uncomfortable. I looked out the window and massaged my nose. The letter felt pointless. But I was at that point. It was that time where I could no longer give words of encouragement. I was at the point where I just had to hope she could pull through. It's all in her hands now. I muttered. What is it, dear? This bus ride cannot end any sooner. Stupid post office. Stupid post office. I might as well buy 100 stamps while I'm here. Sorry, I took a moment. I never want to come back. I walk up to the man at the counter. How may I help you? Can I get some stamps? Sure thing. How many? 20? Well, the stamps come on a sheet of 25. Does that work for you? Sure. Oh god, this sucks. Why? I paid for my stamps and got the hell out of there. But as soon as I stepped outside, I stopped. What am I doing? I walked back there and grabbed the free envelope and put my letter inside. I put one of my new stamps in the corner and walked back up to the guy at the counter. Missed me? Sure did. I chuckled. This guy is making this place bearable. Think you could mail an envelope for me? Sure can. He took my envelope. Have a good day. And then I got the hell out of there. Back to the bus. A 20-minute bus ride for some goddamn stamps. The things I do for love. Four days. 4 days without a letter. The most worrying 4 days of my life. Okay, that may have been a slight hyperbole. But who the hell cares? I I clicked my tongue and set my plate on the coffee table, half a sandwich being untouched. I couldn't eat. I tried to make food to take my mind off of the situation, but clearly I couldn't leave it alone for more than 3 minutes. It was just worrying. 2 days, 2 days, 2 days, and then 4? What could have happened? Did she lose track of time? Did the letter get lost by the postal service? Did my letter get lost? Did the bastard at the post office lose my letter? I knew I shouldn't have. What the hell was that? It sounded like something at the door. Did some kid throw an apple at my door? I stood up and walked to the front entrance. Opened up the door and looked down at my welcome mat. A newspaper? I'm not subscribed to any paper services, and this one doesn't seem to be some kind of free service either. It was probably delivered by mistake. I bent down to pick it up, and when I stood back up and looked out into my lawn, I noticed it. My mailbox. Red flag pointed up. I dropped the newspaper and ran to it. Holy hell, how did I miss this? I was say just this morning. Maybe I was just too tired, or maybe it's just delivered today. Either way, opening up the mailbox and seeing a white letter was one of the most relieving things I've ever experienced. I quickly tore it open. Honey, I kept moving forward. I had my first full session with the doctor just 2 hours ago. It was difficult. It may have been one of the most difficult experiences of my life, but I did it. I talked to the therapist about the experience at the carnival. I believe I'm ready to talk about more than that, but I'd rather take it slow. That makes sense. Talking about other aspects of the problem gets a little deeper than just me making a mistake. But the carnival was progress. I'm proud of myself. And I know you're proud of me too. I love you so, so much. Farewell, Yuri. I wiped my eyes. Damn, who's cutting onions? She's getting better. She's healing. It's working. I held the paper to my chest and slowly fell to my knees. God, she's getting better. She's doing it. The tears fell harder. I was crying. Something I said helped, right? I didn't cause more problems. I laughed. Good fucking Lord. I didn't ruin someone's life. No. I didn't do anything wrong this time. Yuri's solving her problems, and I'm just there in the background. Exactly as it should be. I cried harder. Everything's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be okay. I slowly gathered myself. I needed to write back. I stood up and walked back into my house. I sat down at the bar and pulled over my template. It was just a piece of paper and a pen. Something I had set up 2 days ago in preparation for her letter. But since the letter didn't arrive on time, I just sat there gathering dust. It just sat there gathering dust. But I'm glad I could put it to use now. Yuri! I'm so happy to hear this! I'm so happy and I'm proud of you. So proud of you. You have no idea how proud I am. I love you so much, John. It was a short letter, but hopefully my words can carry the weight they should. I put my letter in an envelope, used a stamp, and opened my front door. I closed my front door after putting the mail in my mailbox. In the mailbox. I walked out into my living room, a smile on my face. Finally feeling more lively, I picked up my sandwich and took a bite. Pastrami. Nice. I sat in the club room feeling completely empty. My good mood from a week ago was all but gone. Like a flame, it died out. I'll report back then. She never did. An entire week and I had heard nothing from her. My mind kept jumping to conclusions. Did her letter get lost in customs? Did she forget to send a letter? Did she fail? Obviously, if this was just a bunch of worst-case scenario situations my mind had come up with to freak me out, but my spirit was already weakened so harshly by the absence of Yuri that I felt myself start to believe the things my head was saying. That she really did fail. That she was dead in a ditch somewhere after a successful attempt on her own. Wham! Oh, Jesus! Someone slammed something into my desk, which scared the hell out of me. Natsuki? That's my name, yes! It's nice to see you. What's up with you, John? Straight to the point as usual. What do you mean? I'm fine. I wasn't. Bull! I've been paying attention. You seem really upset by something. You don't have to lie to me. Well, that's... What? Never mind. It's just... I looked around. Everybody was off doing their own thing. It was safe. My wall crumbled. I haven't seen Yuri in weeks. Nor have I heard from her at all. And it's really getting to me. Oh, that's it? I thought your mom died or something. Just go visit her, dude. I'm sure the hospital allows visitors. It's 12 hours away, Natsuki. So I... What, you don't want to see her or something? No, I do, but don't make excuses. You love her, don't you? Yes, of course. Then go see her. I can just take the train, right? God, I can. Yes, you can! Dummy! God, I feel so stupid. That's normal. You are pretty stupid. Anyway, Natsuki sat down at the desk next to me. Did you see the new manga that the author Perfagos came out with? It's really... I began to tune her out. Not to be rude, but just to appreciate things. I could just go visit Yuri. It was as easy as buying a train ticket. This is gonna be a piece of cake. It was not a piece of cake. 10,950 yen is the cheapest option. My heart hurt, but my wallet hurt more. I winced, but quickly strengthened my resolve. For Yuri! Click. A window popped up. Are you sure? I slammed my head onto my desk. Yes, damn it, I'm sure. I clicked yes, and when the purchase went through, I screenshot the ticket. I then emailed the picture to myself, shut my laptop, and turned off my light. I slowly crawled into bed. The train leaves at 8 tomorrow. Hopefully I can get out of the house by 7. Give myself time to get there and get situated for a 12-hour train ride. I sighed. The things I do for love. I rubbed my eyes. God damn it is too early for this. I got through all of the security and all of the luggage garbage. After that, I was just standing around the middle of the giant train station waiting for my ticket to be called. You know where I know this background from? From Gacha. Gacha Life or something. Something with Gacha in the name. Wait, no, Gacha Studio also had this. Used to watch things like that. Thank God it's cold in the mornings. I muttered and put my hands in my pockets. A mostly outside train station is both a blessing and a curse. I could be getting sunburned to hell for all I know. But that's the thing! I don't know. I just wonder if I should go to the general store and get some sunscreen. Train 32 is now boarding. Train 32 from Nakatomi to Lakeview. I repeat, I checked my ticket. Yep, I was right. It was time to board. I shuffled towards the approaching train. Seeing the vast amount of people lining up only made me more nervous. I'm glad you can visit. Not all allow a visit. Seeing the vast amount of people lining up only made me more nervous. Despite being on the bus plenty of times, I've never been on a train. I can only hope it's not too different. I mean, it looked different. But one thing I can say with confidence is that assigned seats on public transportation is the best thing since sliced bread. Not having to worry about if I'll be standing for hours is something I'm not going to take for granted. But something I did take for granted was not having to ride a train for hours. Clearly things have changed. I sighed. This is gonna suck. 11 hours and 59 minutes later. Yeah, that sucked. Watching the sun go down on a train was pretty cool, but getting there was probably the most boring experience of my life. My phone died quickly, I finished the books I brought, and my laptop wasn't even charged. I sat there and did nothing for 4 straight hours. I would have tried sleeping, but the train was moving around too much. I would have tried socializing, but everyone around me was some tired businessman or some tired mother. But all in all, I'm just glad it's almost over. And that I get to see Yuri. That's probably the only thing that kept me going during the arduous journey. The thought of my grape angel. I instantly wrote that one of my list. I gladly wrote that off my list of things to call Yuri. That just felt bleh. I looked out the window to try and brainstorm more names, which is when I noticed that we had begun to slow down. Now arriving at Lakeview Station. Oh, thank God! I'm finally here. I put everything I had out back in my backpack and put said bag on said back. Back. When the train fully stopped, I stood up, only to almost immediately fall back down. My legs fell asleep. God damn it! I tried my best to balance as I stood up once again. When I finally got motor function back, I walked off the train. It was quite dark. I needed to find a bus stop, catch a ride to my hotel, and rest up for tomorrow. And to be in tip-top shape when I see that mature beauty. No, that makes her sound old. Oh, jeez. Why do hotel rooms never have blinds? They don't? Oh wait, maybe they do. Well, motel rooms. Oh, I don't know about motels. I'm running off my savings here. I can't afford a hotel. I shook my head. I gotta get up. I want to savor what little time I have. I muttered, forcing myself to sit up. I left my bed, showered in the crappy motel shower, changed clothes, ate a bag of chips for breakfast, and checked out. After checking out, I walked through the area to reach the bus stop I used last night. I will say it was nice to be away from suburbia. This place felt homely. Buildings were sprinkled here and there, yeah, but it was no Tokyo. And being able to hear the birds was nice. I continued this train of thought as I sat down on the bus stop bench. God, it really is just a beautiful day today. It's perfect for a date. I had my hands together deviously so as the bus pulled up to the curb. I stepped off the bus a few minutes later. Well, here we are. Lakeview, I think. I'm blanking on the name, but this was the hospital, which meant I was only a few minutes away from seeing my girlfriend. It really was just that easy. I felt like a fool for not considering that before, given the fact that we were not allowed to visit our friends. Not really anything I would be too concerned about. 12 hours was nothing. I deeply exhaled as I pushed the doors open. I walked over to the lady at the front desk. Are you twins with the flower lady? Hello. How may I help you? She seemed oddly familiar, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it. I shook my head. I'm here to visit my girlfriend. How sweet. Let me check if she's open for visitors. My heart sunk. What's her name? I gave her Yuri's first and last name, but as I did, I felt myself dissociate. Open for visitors? What if she isn't open for visitors? Will I have to go all the way back? Will this entire trip have been for nothing? Looks like you're good to go. She is in room 204 of the West Wing. Would you like a map? Yes, please. She handed me a paper brochure, and I was off. Thank God she's open for visitors. I don't know what I would have done if she wasn't. Probably cry. But whatever. No time to dwell. I have places to be. After a few minutes of walking, I found myself in the West Wing, and subsequently outside the room I was told to go to. I took a deep breath. That's what I've been waiting for. I steeled my nerves and I knocked. No reply. I knocked again. Yuri? Nothing. I jiggled the doorknob. It was unlocked, so most likely she's in there. I considered my options, and then I opened up the door. She was asleep. But it was her. It was Yuri. I felt overwhelmed almost at the sight of her. I was relieved, happy, excited, everything. And I was just so violently in love. Being in this state of mind after only being away from the girl for a few weeks could not have been healthy. But I didn't care. My voice cracked. Yuri! Ah! She jumped, startled awake by my yell. Yuri! Oop! Crap, I'm sorry! Oh, John, it's just you. For a second there, I thought. She trailed off, and then practically tackled me. Oh my god! Right. Speech, she grabbed me tightly, and I felt my bones get crushed, along with my airflow being cut off. This feels familiar. Good. She whispered into my chest before it began to get wet. She kissed my sweater and then she pulled her head on my put her head on my shoulder. It's been so hard without you here. She sniffled. I just miss you so badly. And John, you were 12 hours away. How did you? Hey. I rubbed her head. I took a train. It was worth it to see you. Don't worry about it. She nodded. Okay. There was a pregnant pause. The silence of the room only filled by me rubbing Yuri's hair. She spoke up, her voice faltering. I thought I wasn't going to make it at times. I know. But it's alright now. I'm here. You're here. We're back. I kissed the top of her head. Coconut. I chuckled internally. Of course she brought her soap with her. Cool that she had her allowance too. I know. She laughed almost forcefully. God, look at me. I could feel her wipe at her eyes. Crying over a boy. Well, if it helps, I've cried over plenty of boys. She giggled, genuinely. Yes, honey, that helps. She pulled away, giving me a kiss as she did. I smiled. She smiled wider. So, do you want to go get lunch? She wiped her eyes. John, I'm starving. Perfect. I know just the place. Apparently, the hospital lets their patients go outside. Well, good on them, I guess. Sorry, I still can't fully be convinced. But it's good that they allow it. I wonder if they actually exist like that. Possibly. We were just unlucky with our... What do we have in total? 9 mental hospitals. Yuri said that she liked to go out to a nearby park when given free time. So after lunch, that was our next destination. Sorry. 9 mental hospitals. And they were not all in the same area. How did this whatever? Yuri said that she liked to go to a nearby park when given free time. So after lunch, that was our next destination. It won't live up to the park to the one back home, but I'm sure it'll be just as nice. Speaking of nice, we're here. I opened up the doors and let Yuri go first. I am a gentleman after all. We talked to a waiter and they sat us down at one of the tables. The atmosphere is nice and I've heard that the food is great. Hopefully this place reaches those expectations for you. The atmosphere is alright, but I haven't eaten anything yet. We'll just have to wait and see. That we will, Yuri. That we will. After that small exchange, a waiter walked up to our table. Hello, you two. My name is Clay. How may I serve you today? Any drinks to start us off? Sure. Just a water, please. Okay, and what about a lady? Water. Please. Alright, 2 waters coming right up. I'll give you some time to look over the menus. And us 2 laminated binders. Binders, whatever. And I'll be back in a few with your drinks. He walked off, and I felt slightly off-put. That felt... I turned to Yuri. Kinda odd, don't you think? It did feel like he was rushing things a bit. We just sat down. She giggled her mature giggle. God, she sounded like a 32-year-old woman, but I absolutely adored it. For a second there, I found myself just staring at her. Are you alright, honey? I blinked. Oh, sorry. It's just... Have I ever told you how beautiful you are? She nodded. All the time. Well, okay. Have I ever told you how absolutely dashing your eyes are? She blushed. No, I think that's new. She grabbed my hand. But I have no quarrels with you telling me that more often. She tightened her grip. Sorry, I know I probably sound ridiculous. Hey, I grabbed her other hand. I just want you to know that I still love you. Speech impediment or not, you're still you. And do you know what that means? What? It means that you're perfect. I'll say it time and time again, but you really are. At least, you're to me. I gave her a quick peck on the lips, and her cheeks flared up again. Alright, guys. I got your waters. Perfect timing, Clay. I smiled at Yuri, and she smiled back. Clay set the waters down and took back out his notepad. So we have looked over the menus. Do you know if you want any appetizers or anything? Could we please get one of the pretzels? Sure thing. Anything else? I think we're good for now. Alright. You do have fun and I'll get you that pretzel. I don't know if I have the same voice as earlier, but whatever. I turned to Yuri. How did you know they're pretzels? Oh, it's on that sign over there. She pointed behind me, so I turned around in my chair. World famous pretzel. That was quick thinking, Yuri. I'm impressed. Well, when you spent most of your life avoiding eye contact with fever, you pick up on a few things. Well, alright then. Cheers to that. Cheers to that. We spent around an hour in that restaurant, talking, chatting, but mostly, we were just enjoying each other's company. Both of us had that mindset. Both of us knew. Both of us were thinking it. I'm just so happy to see you again. It felt like a dream come true, honestly. I probably relied on Yuri too much. But who cares? We're here for a good time, not a long time. Yuri set down her fork, seemingly done with her meal. There was a bit left on her plate, but you could chalk that up to her being full. But I knew she had more in her. She wasn't full, she was saving room. I was thankful she was. Because the exact reason we went to this restaurant? Something I hadn't mentioned to Yuri up until this point? Well, let's just say it's dessert related, because of the ice cream she always wanted. There's Clay. He doesn't have to check, so I assume he's coming by to ask about desserts. Hook, line, and sinker. Hey there, guys. Enjoying the meal? I nodded. Yep. Thanks, Clay. Of course. Now, of course, I have to ask. Are we thinking about any desserts? Oh, I'm good, but... Hook, line! Do you have any pinata colada ice cream? And sinker! We do! Would you like some? She gasped. Yes, I would, please. She was holding back. Sounds good. I'll be back with that in a second. Clay walked off, and Yuri turned to face me. You knew, didn't you? I smiled. You knew. Of course you knew. What can I say? I would have finished the sentence, but I was cut cut off by a pair of lips against mine. I'll take my Boyfriend of the Year award, players. Please. After a few seconds of intense passion, she broke it off. You knew when you remembered. She wiped her eyes. Oh God. She giggled. I need to stop crying. Well, seeing you cry tears of happiness is something I don't think I'll ever get tired of. Just so you know. She giggled again. Well, I'll be sure to keep doing it. If it makes you that happy. I nodded. It makes me more happy than you could ever imagine. I leaned over the table and gave her a kiss on the cheek. This day is perfect. We walked off the restaurant, our stomachs full. That was pretty good, Yuri muttered. Yeah. Not bad for being in the middle of nowhere. Nope. I grabbed Yuri's hand and we continued to walk. So, where's that park you mentioned earlier? I turned to face her. It's back by the hospital. We'd have to take the bus back there. Ah, crap. We don't have to. No, it's alright. The buses here are extraordinarily empty. I'll be fine. Well, great. Take me to your park, Yuri. Let's go. She began to run but stopped instantly. I am not going to run on a full stomach. Smart move, Yuri. Smart move. We walked to the bus stop instead. It was nice. The weather remained gorgeous, and so did Yuri. But between the weather and Yuri, the more gorgeous one isn't even a competition, I'd say. I chuckled. She would probably blush if I said that out loud. Hey, Yuri. Hey, Yuri. Hey, Yuri. This pork isn't as good as the other one. Sorry. That's alright. You can't really compare the two, you know? The other one is special. This one's just kinda exists. This one just kinda exists. Where's the other one special? I turned my head. What do you mean? We had our first date there. Our first conflict there. That other date. Okay, I get it! I just didn't know if you felt the same way as I did. I put a head on her shoulder. Yuri, I love you. I let go of her shoulder and continued walking. I chuckled. Hey! I don't know why, but I began to run. Yuri didn't sound too angry, judging by the constant giggling as she chased after me. But now I was giggling! I was having fun. For the first time in a while, I was back doing fun with Yuri. And it made me feel so alive. I continued running on the path until I had tripped on something. Most likely a loose rock. Ugh. Either way, I went tumbling down onto the grass. I shook my head as I sat up and looked at my surroundings. I was in a forest clearing, like the one back home. Hey, are you okay? I heard Yuri. She must have seen me fall. She no one stood above me. I saw you fall. You're not hurt, are you? No, I'm fine. But look at where we are. She looked around. Oh, this is a pretty little clearing. Yes, it is. And you know what forest clearings are perfect for? What's that? I fell back down onto the grass, staring at the clouds. I looked up into the sky. That one looks like a bunny. That one looks like a bulldozer. That one was weird. That one looks like my love for you. Yuri, on her knees, draped her body over top of me. It hurt a little bit, but I'm not sure telling her that is a smart idea. As I focused back up on the clouds, she adjusted herself to be more comfortable. She was now lying on her chest, exactly where she belonged. Everything was perfect. Still, something struck me. Hey. Yes? Why did you stop writing letters? I'm sorry to bring this up now, but that was kind of concerning. Why did I stop writing? Why did you stop writing? Huh? We stared into each other's eyes. I sent my letter and then you never replied. That's not true. I always reply to your letters. It got lost in customs, didn't it? Yeah. Definitely. She hid back in my chest and I went back to the clouds. That one looks like my everlasting love for Yuri. John? Yeah? Jeez, that kind of spooked me. Please don't leave. Oh. I smiled sadly and ran a hand through her hair. Well, I have to leave eventually. Why? Because I doubt they'll let me stay here. Why not? She said, muffled by my sweater. They have tons of spare rooms. Yeah, but I don't want to take the room of someone who might need it. And just stay in my room. Then I'll be distracting you. From what? From being strong. From being strong and getting better. Man, that sounded awful. We can't have you relying on me too much, right? That sounded a little better. Yuri sighed. I know. Just want to live in my fantasy land. Just for a little longer. Well, Yuri, I'm not going anywhere. Not yet. So you can keep living here. And I'll keep providing it. Yay. She sounded tired. Are you falling asleep? I chuckled. No. She began to snore. I had to hold myself back from laughing. Nice. Though, speaking of nice, I must once again comment on today. I got to see my girlfriend. We went out for lunch. The weather is fantastic. Yuri's slowly getting better. My relationship with Monica doesn't seem too strained. Me and Sayori are friends again. Oh man. Despite it all, you know? Despite the struggle. Despite the pain. I leaned down and kissed her on the head. Oh, my coconut princess. The joy and the frustration that came with choosing you. Despite all of it. Choosing you is the best decision I've ever made. Epilogue: Tropical Rain.
Mr. Yagi, I loved your novel. Do you think you could sign my copy?
Sure, kid. I opened the book and then I popped the cap off my pen. I write my name down on the cover page along with a thank you. Here you go. Now I don't want to see this on eBay, you hear me?
Of course not, sir.
The fan nods his head rapidly. He scampers off and another person comes in after him. God, book signings. They're gonna be the death of me. Mr. Yagi, your work on Tropical Rain was amazing. How did you do it? Just hard work, you know? Of course, Sensei. I chuckle. I signed his book too, giving him a smiley face. What can I say? He made me laugh. After the book signing, I went to make a pit stop downtown. She should be here somewhere. Yep, there she is.
Hello, Mr. Yagi.
Hey there, Koto.
Here for your flowers?
I nod. Sorry I'm so late.
That's okay.
Takes a bundle of flowers and puts them in a bag.
I know you have your book signings and all that.
I nod and take out my card. Pay for the flowers, grab my bag, and then nod my head. Have a good night, Koto. Why did I say it so deeply?
You too, John.
Smile and wave. I drive down the road to my house, flowers in the passenger seat next to me. I hope she likes these. Should be a good apology for for having to stay out late. I chuckle. I pull into my driveway and hop out of my car. Finally home. I walk up to my door and unlocked it. Phew. It's warm in here. Good thing too, because it was cold as hell out there. I walk into the kitchen. But I do, the light flips on. Now I know how this looks. Yeah, I would hope you do. Uh-oh, she paced. She walks towards me, and I worry she's gonna get physical. Until her face softens. I was worried sick, you know. I know, and I'm sorry. I held out the flowers. I got caught up at book signing, and she gives me a kiss on the cheek. Apology accepted. She takes the flowers. Oh, these are so pretty. John, how did you know these? I listen, you know. Do you know? Yes! I say in mock outrage. Give me some more credit! Okay. She leans in and gives me a real kiss. It lasts a few seconds, then she pulls away. How is that for some more credit? That's some pretty damn good credit, babe. We both lean in and our lips lock once more. We were both thinking it. We both had the same mindset, as usual. I love you. End. Credits, yeah. The composer. Songs made for the game. And in the game. Are you Monica? Xavier for 2 poems, proofreading app. Other music by Mew and Amateur. 2 CGs. I didn't save the last CG. Fuck me. Okay, sorry. Sprite. Backgrounds. And there's some additional help. Donators. And some special things. Xavier is everywhere and nowhere. That's some nice music here. Oh shit, okay. You need to click. I think. I hope I didn't make a mistake there. You know what? Just to be sure, I'll skip to the end of the game again and see if there is anything else. I need to cut anyway because I want to discuss something with someone real quick to calm myself down so I can properly process how I feel. Very special thanks to these people. But most of all, thank you, player. Earn special things, please check Princess to see a very special message for you and a copy of the original soundtrack. Thanks for playing. Should I can maybe put in a small clip about what's all inside of the Coconut Princess folder. If there's like anything important in there, I can maybe put in the background. Okay. I'll probably cut out portions of my freak out over the mental hospital portion, which was pretty early on. Because, well, I probably would still be able to have put it in that the experiences with mental hospitals have not been great. I'm pretty sure I've also mentioned, I've mentioned it later on too. They were pretty damaging to their mental health, and the people inside were not nice. Similar to therapy, if you have had good positive, I want to say good and positive at the same time, positive experiences with that, you can also talk about it. Because there are absolutely like no good things about it really. In any personal circles. With therapy it's like there were two where there were no negative consequences, but there was simply none where there was anything positive ever. And I'll talk about that a bit when we get into the story portion, which will be the larger portion, because when we go to the characters, Sayori and Natsuki were hardly present. So due to that, I can't really rate them too much. But from what little we saw of them, I'll give them the full points because of what little we saw of them. Natsuki was a bit unsure, but I felt like it was okay for the most part, especially since we were like on the Yuri route apparently beforehand, and she might still be a bit there. Monica was perfectly fine. I feel like it was a good representation of what Monica could be like, except for Monica like the moving on, especially if it's such a long crush. But I still feel like main game Monica never cried, and she was in a much worse situation where she has been kind of like, it wasn't like a year-old crush, but it was like basically her life, her genuine life. She felt like was dependent on it. And the only time I've ever really had the interpretation that she might cry is after deletion. And maybe at the end of the game, you could also interpret it. But outside of that, we like never see her cry, so I feel she was a bit too emotional. And I feel like with Yuri there was a little bit of a oh, the music is just here. Okay. It was also a little bit extreme for something where we aren't in Act 2 yet, but I guess that's kind of the part of the game. Although I must say, with her self-harm, I'm still pretty convinced, giving the raccoon poem, that she didn't start self-harming out of any tragic reasons. She certainly didn't have an easy life, but what we see in the raccoon poem simply is, maybe she got to know it from a book, but generally she simply had the urge. There appears to have been no negative anything towards it, and it appeared to kick in pretty easily, the endorphins. There seemed to not be any relation to, like, she had to try it multiple times. By the sound of it, she had this knife collection for a longer period of time, and she just, I don't know if you can interpret it as, like I said, as something that she read, and then she proceeded to try it. Generally, all we know is really an urge, and it seems like there was no tragic reason behind it at all. She was just curious. The feeling she had there was thrilling, and due to that, she ended up engaging in it. So yeah, I would still say that it's 9 points out of 10. I would say that's a good score. Especially since you have to like read a lot about the raccoon bomb beforehand. With Monica, I feel like it was a bit more possible that you could have told it, but like, I feel like at worst both of them would like take a little bit away. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to feel, how I'm supposed to feel about the way that the festivals turned around. Like, we've been given some information. For example, the poems they performed during their practice were supposed to be the poems they were going to read there. And Monica would have needed to make the pamphlets, and it didn't seem like she made them because she asked for if I had our poem, and it seemed like she was generally asking if we had a poem. But even so, I would still keep it at a 9. Pretty good. Now we get to the story in general. Pretty good is actually pretty much of an understatement. It's like very good. Greetings. I'm currently editing right now, or rather I'm about to edit this portion. I'm currently wearing my braces. I know I generally already don't speak all that clearly. I hope this doesn't worsen it or anything. I just wanted to chime in here and interrupt my reviewing self from the past, because I ended up talking more about my personal experiences and why well, not just my personal experiences, but also from my friends, and why I absolutely despise the message of only therapy is the only way, and I started going so much more into the personal than the actual review portion. So, I'll chime in here right now and quickly only say the important portions. I also had like a mental breakdown earlier about the mental hospital portion. I cut that out though, because I felt that was very inappropriate and not really fitting to the situation at all. The general problem I have with the last portion is simply, once again, the message: if you don't go to therapy, you aren't trying. And that's a bad message to send, because, for one, like my friends, had this bad experience with therapy. I had this bad experience with therapy. And with mental hospitals and other hospitals and police, we generally had like very bad experiences and all that in that whole entire field. And we still managed to get better without it. Like, even though therapy caused immense trauma to them, which they didn't have before, they have gotten better. It's a good message to say that the weight of caring about a person with mental health issues shouldn't rely on only one person. Yuri does in fact she needed in fact a better support system that isn't completely reliant on the MC. Because, well, that's not something a singular person can handle and should have to handle. I just hate the message that it's, if you don't go to therapy, you aren't trying. Yuri was clearly trying. She really wanted to try. And no, I don't mind the fact that therapy was like one of the solutions here. I kind of expected that. It was actually, I pretty much knew it. It's just the way that it was phrased, which once again framed it less of an, this person now wants to try therapy. They're finally ready and decided, I'm going to make that step. And it felt more like, you should go that step, or otherwise you aren't even trying. Which is my problem with it. Especially with what the father said. Oh, she loves you, but she doesn't go to therapy? We haven't seen enough of the father to make any type of judgment over what kind of person he is. But I honestly hated the way he handled that, for one, saying that, because, like I said, you can try and still not want to go to therapy for various reasons, and maybe you just can't afford therapy in some countries as well, and you still can get better. Like, mods for some reason suggest therapy but don't offer like much of like support groups and stuff, which might be difficult with Yuri and being shy and all, but maybe could be something to recommend for once instead of just focusing on therapy, because I'm sure there have been bad experiences with support groups and therapy groups, but just from personal experience, it's very different from therapy itself, and was for me, for example, much more beneficial. And back then, when I first went to it, I was pretty shy myself. And I just generally didn't like that interaction with the father, especially with the stupid of, oh, and you blame yourself for it. Generally, I felt like it was setting up like the MC to finally overcome the fact that he maybe is just an emotional guy and he has every right to be that way. But no, we don't really see that much development of that either. Like, we never really get any satisfying solution to it. Conclusion, solution, whatever. And I get that it must be frustrating when your child, or like very upsetting when your child is blaming themselves for something like this. But yelling at them and being like, how dare you blame yourself, is not actually helpful at all. Um, did you know that you can feel guilty for feeling guilty, and that's a very bad circle to get into? Yeah, I feel like that would be more realistic to happen there. Especially for what we've seen from his mental health beforehand already, too. Yeah, so I had bad experiences with like mental hospitals, therapy. I bet some people also had it with group therapy, but with us it was like more this. And generally saying Yuri goes to therapy is one thing, but once it's another to say she's only trying now. The fact that she's going to therapy now shows that she's finally trying now, even if she was trying beforehand. It doesn't impact the score of the total story too much because it was just the ending segment, and I don't know how much the mod creators actually noticed that that's the message they're kind of conveying here, because I don't know if they really like noticed that. And I also don't know if that's like really the message they really want to convey, or if they fully understand that that's a bad message to convey. Like I said, my friends and we had to undo the damage that therapy and mental hospitals have done. We needed to undo the damage it did, and after that we could start healing, and it worked. It's always a long process. With therapy, without therapy, it's always going to be a long process. And if the therapist is nice and knows what they're doing, and if they follow the rules, but also notice when it might be flawed sometimes, then I feel like they can do it. It's just that we got pretty unlucky with it. And with that, my friends don't want to go to therapy anymore. I don't want to go to therapy anymore, especially since I'm finally getting better and now I'm suddenly supposed to just worsen my, like, risk worsening my mental health again, even though I'm on a good path right now. Especially since, like, the therapists around me right now are mostly the ones we've had bad experiences with. The only available ones, really. Although it's generally pretty difficult to get one right now. And I feel like I shouldn't be said I'm not trying, because I am trying. And even worse, don't tell my friends they aren't trying when they are trying very hard and they're making progress. Slowly but surely they're improving. Yes, they're not going to therapy, but they're improving nonetheless, and that should be the important part of it. It's just that this message was unintentionally conveyed towards the end by what the father said, and the way that it doesn't get called out or actually stated, oh, that's true, when it's not. People who don't go to therapy can still be trying. If you look at someone and like,
you suggest therapy, and maybe when they have like a misconception about it, like my problems aren't big enough to go to therapy, then maybe you can tell them that's not true. But if the person really, really doesn't want to go, then that doesn't mean they're not trying, but maybe they just don't feel comfortable with it. Maybe they already need to make a first step in the progress before they can go to therapy, or they've perhaps had bad experiences with it. You can be there for someone even if they aren't going to therapy, because that doesn't essentially mean, wow, they aren't trying. They should be trying harder to get over the mental health struggles. Because when you tell that, my friends, you need to try to get over your mental health struggles, then one of the things would be, I will avoid mental hospitals and therapists at all cost because of the bad experiences they had. So yeah, I kind of rambled on more about my friend's experiences there. Some information felt a bit too personal as well. That's why I decided to cut it out. Because the most important part is it conveyed a message I really don't agree with. It doesn't impact the score too much because it was just the ending, and I really don't know if they were really going for conveying that message. I don't really think they were. I think they just wanted to say therapy can help instead of, if you don't go to therapy, you're not a good person. I just think it came off wrong, especially with like the fact that the father is called like good for the things he said, even though he handled both the struggle of this person he doesn't know it all and his own son's struggle with the guilt very poorly, and it doesn't really get really deemed that way. And it also adds to the fact that like DMC, there was like development he had to go through and he never did. And due to the way he framed his father's words, it kind of feels like that contributed to the lack of development towards the end there, actually. Which also probably was very much unintentional, but it was there, this somewhat of the connection there, so yeah.
Otherwise, story-wise, I felt the romance worked very well. It had some cute moments. I noticed myself spacing out every now and then. But I don't know, maybe it was just a day. The romance was ganz okay. Was alright. It was sweet. Had its sweet moments. I was disappointed that they never resolved the issue of like the MC's basically toxic masculinity almost. I get in specific cases it was intended to be more funny, but it feels like he never ended up completing the journey of evolving and getting better at like noticing that he is allowed to cry and shit. It feels like we never improved anywhere there. So that sucked. Outside of Monica and Yuri, hardly any other characters are present, but you know what? I kind of prefer that over them being mischaracterized entirely. They still play and it was kind of the point at the end there that you finally got to spend some more time with Sayori, but I still wish we got to see more of it. And I feel like one choice that was weird was also showing Monica's point of view. It was a little... Give me a second, I need to drink something. It was a little interesting, the idea of the girls who have a crush on the MC have like also the ability for like these girls will also get their point of view for those into the MC, but that meant that Monica and the latter half of the mod like never got like any type of scene for her again, so it kind of felt strange. And also I feel like the writing was sometimes difficult in these moments. I guess it's intended to be like a story, yeah, like written like a story there, basically. However, what I more was bothered by a bit was, give me a moment. Sometimes the thoughts were cursive, and sometimes they were not. And like, in a writing perspective, it makes sense to maybe sometimes quote thoughts directly, but sometimes they felt like, and sometimes not, but sometimes it felt like they were quoted directly, and they were still not, like, they were still not put, not cursive. Italic. Italic was it, not cursive. And so it was really hard to sometimes read these passages, because it was like, which of these are things I'm supposed to deem Yuri's thoughts? Which of these are the narrator? Why is the narrator all of a sudden giving Yuri's thoughts? And not like in a way of like, she couldn't breathe, and rather in a way of like, saying, no, this can't be. It also was sometimes a bit difficult with the present and the present and the past tenses switching up a bit in ways that made it difficult to sometimes understand which was like, oh, give me a moment, I'm lost in thought. I lost my train of thought, not I'm lost in thought. Maybe I'm lost in thought. I forgot exactly what I wanted to say. Something about the italic and the... No, about the present and the past tense. Yeah, sometimes it was a bit difficult to understand which are the thoughts of the past self and the past of the current self. And sometimes, of course, they would probably be the same thing. But sometimes they would probably also be very much the... What? But sometimes it was difficult to sometimes tell what exactly was going on due to that, with the thought processes. Also in like the MC's head there. So yeah, things I liked. I felt like the aspect of the mental health was handled better than in Fallen Angel. At least they didn't demonize her for enjoying knives. I still feel like her going to therapy on her own will is one thing. Saying this is the only way you can get better. There's absolutely no way you can get better otherwise. That's the bad thing. You're only a good person if you try therapy. Outside of that, if you don't go to therapy, you're a burden to your loved ones. If you don't go to therapy, you're not trying hard enough. Those are bad messages to send, and sadly the mod kind of slipped into that. Still, I felt like it was still better than Fallen Angel in specific aspects. I also enjoyed the romance more. It felt more genuine here. Like, he enjoyed the stuff she talked about. He enjoyed the stuff he talked about to himself. He enjoyed the stuff she talked about. And not just, like, we sometimes got entire things about, like, how she just explained things about wine. And it was viewed as an important part of the mod because it was important to the main character. Because it was a part about her that he loved. And that felt quite a bit more genuine. I liked the idea of like trying to also give first and foremost also the MC a few insecurities, although some of them didn't really get resolved in a manner I felt was appropriate for someone struggling with being a man. Of course I'm not a man, but I have enough guy friends to know a bit about the experience. And something else about the Monica aspect about it. at the beginning I was like, was it really necessary to have like the entire Monica plot in there? But you know what? But you know what? It was quite important to first and foremost also set up the MC's insecurities and all of that, and simply to make the mod stand out a little bit, to show how high school love can be confusing also. With like falling in love and stuff. So I don't mind that. I really ended up really enjoying the aspect of the story to like show a bit of that and to make it stand out. All in all, I'll give it... In the story department... I'll give it... I'm swaying between 7 and 8. Because I gave Fallen Angel for the story department 7. It was on 5 before we had a bit of spoilers, before the ending, I suppose you can put the ending portions. Before that, at 5. I just feel like it was better than Fallen Angel in like quite a lot of aspects. You know what? It was better than Fallen Angel in quite a lot of aspects. For me personally, of course. I can get that some might prefer the others, but with all the issues I still had with the mental health aspects, it was still better than Fallen Angel, a little bit at least. So... it's just... like I said, her going to therapy is not the problem. It's just once again the idea of you have to go to therapy. No other choice if you want to become a better person. And then a little bit of the confusion and a little bit of the absence of like Natsuki and Sayori. But that can be stored perfectly fine in one point, especially since it's not worthy to comment on a bit of the writing quality when it comes to like Monica stopped being like Monica's point of view stopped showing like halfway through, which is an odd decision to make due to how important it seemed at the beginning. So we can score that together in like 1 point, and we can leave it at 8. With Fallen Angel, the problem was, besides the mental health problems, the mental health points, also the fact that I didn't really feel the romance as much as here. So I'll keep it together here, as the story itself has 8 points. The character writing has 9, which is also sadly a bit related to the fact that Sayori and Natsuki were not that present, because Natsuki was already swaying a bit. But I feel like it was good enough, and that it doesn't deserve an entire point taken away for itself in the story department. So 9 plus... I forgot. 8? I forgot what number I forgot. I could see the number in my head, but I forgot what it was called. Is 17 divided by 2 is 8.5. It was a good mod, but I feel like it was a bit opposite to Fallen Angel, where it was I wasn't really invested at the beginning and only at the end. And here it was I was invested more throughout the entire way, but also at the ending I was a bit more invested again. It's just this, shortly before the ending, it was just the whole thing about, it was just the entire therapy portion that I couldn't stand, not because she went to therapy, but because it was once again framed as the only thing, not just as the only thing to get better, but generally as the only way she can prove her love to him. as the only way she can become a better person. As if you're a bad person if you aren't going to therapy, even if you might have reasons not to go there. But still, 8.5 is a good score. I liked the mod. I liked some of the ideas behind, especially, like I said, I came to grow to love the Monica idea at the beginning. And the characterization was fine. I just miss, like, Natsuki and Sayori quite a bit. But yeah. Thank you for watching. Sorry for getting emotional about the entire therapy stuff at the ending, but it's very important to me as someone who had such abhorrent experiences with it. Still, if you want to say, hey, therapy helped me, or mental hospital helped me, honestly, really just maybe you can write about it, maybe, because maybe it will help me slowly warm up to it a bit more. I'll never appreciate people saying that it's the only way to become a better person, because I've seen people better without it. I've seen people get worse with it, and I think that won't, no matter what you say, I won't completely approve of the message of you can only become a better person if you do that. And the entire man thing, that we never really get a good resolution to it, really. Still, 8.5 is a good score. Thank you for watching, and I hope you stay safe, all of you. And if you go to therapy, then no shade against you. I hope it's going well for you. Stay safe.